Tonight on News 5 Live, drug plane lands near Monkey River, but will it have to stay there? Officers charged for shots fired near heads of government meeting. Lord Rayburn celebrates an incredible 7 decades of making music. And News 5 celebrates some living heroes ahead of Heroes and Benefactors Day. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Are you looking for the right product to keep your family and your home safe? Then Spark Alcohol is exactly what you've been looking for. It prevents the spread of many diseases. It's also fast-drying, safe, and conveniently packaged in a spray bottle. Protect your family and your home with Spark Alcohol. Exclusively distributed by Unitex Company Limited.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
The ministry is collaborating with SpeedNet Communications to have a vaccination campaign for children ages 12 to 17 years. Children who get vaccinated will get a chance to win fabulous prizes, including backpacks with supplies, Nintendo Switch, tablets, book tuitions, and MiFi with 3 months data. Only children 12 to 17 years old can participate in this smart and Ministry of Health and Wellness raffle. At vaccination sites, each vaccinated child, upon being vaccinated, will receive a ticket to place their name, age, date of birth, BHIS number, and contact information on, which will be filled out by a parent or legal guardian. The sooner a person vaccinates, the more chances he or she will have to win. Get vaccinated, please. Vaccination saves lives.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, March 4th. I am Sabrina Daly. A Gulf Stream jet laden with an unknown quantity of cocaine touched down in a remote area of the country in the wee early hours this morning. The Joint Intelligence Operations Center was notified of a flight pattern originating in South America that indicated that the aircraft was headed to Belize. Immediately, law enforcement teams were scrambled to various locations that were believed to be the possible landing site of the drug plane. After crossing into Mexican airspace, the aircraft made a U-turn and headed to southern Belize, landing in a far-flung area behind Monkey River Village. By the time officers responded to that location, the airplane had already been discharged of its payload, which was ferried over water, presumably to Mexico. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams provided additional details.
Sometimes at 9 p.m. last night, a truck was declared leaving South America and heading our way. The information was relayed through Jack, and based on that, Jack contacted our operations commander for us to relinquish operation of or control of the operation teams. That is our QRTs and the ANU and some elements of MIT and the Special Patrol Unit to them for deployment in the respective areas that we would normally deploy. As you would know that in order to maximize on our resources, we would normally have police and BDF and the Coast Guard deployed. And so that was done from around 9:30 last night. And we continue to monitor the track until it entered our airspace, which was sometime after 1 a.m. last night. And it passed our airspace and went into Mexico airspace. It stayed over Mexico for a few minutes, and then it made a turn and came back into our airspace. Now, notwithstanding the fact that it had passed our airspace and went into Mexico, we still maintain our presence in the areas where we were deployed, because we have seen this happen before, where with a view to avoid us, they will go into Mexico and let us believe that they're going to land there and then make a quick turn and come back into Belize. And so based on that, we maintain our presence in the areas where we were deployed. And yes, the plane then came and went south and made landing on a small little island type area in the Monkey River area.
According to Compal Williams, the responding officers were once again met with spikes that punctured their vehicle tires. While a Mexican air asset was aloft, the Coast Guard vessel that dispatched to the location did not arrive in time to intercept the fleeing go-fast boats.
We had a team which was based about 10 miles away from where the plane landed, but that was just a 4-man team. Notwithstanding that, the team attempted to go to the area where the plane landed, but again, they were met by spikes on the road, and that disabled the vehicle from proceeding to the particular area. Now, remember I said that this area is surrounded by water, and so the road that had the spike would have only taken the team probably about a mile or so from where the plane had landed. And then when they got to that location, there is a lagoon that they would have to cross, a very deep lagoon. And so by foot, the team were not able to get to the location. They had to use boat. With the assistance of Coast Guard, they were able to get on that area where the plane had landed. Now, while the plane was on the ground, we had aerial assistance from the Mexican Air Asset. And they had indicated to us play by play what was happening. And they said that there was like several ATVs, and there were 3 boats right by the lagoon. And the cargoes were loaded from the plane. The ATVs were used and taken to the boat, and then the boats took the drugs through the sea, perhaps went over to the Mexican side through the sea.
The aircraft landed successfully on a marshy island and is intact. However, removing it from the location, says Commissioner of Police, will be a challenge.
Through JAC, Coast Guard assistance was requested because from the information was relayed by the Mexican Air Asset, we knew then that it would have been impossible to capture these persons via road, and the only possible way would have been through the sea. But again, the Coast Guard vessel was not within striking distance, and so by the time they got to the location, the vessels have left with the cargo. Our Mexican counterparts were contacted, and I guess they are still on the alert in Mexico side to see if if those boats are going to arrive in Mexico with the cargo that came on that plane. The plane is a Gulfstream jet, and this is one of the rare occasions where the jet or the plane is not destroyed. It is still intact. But getting it out of that area may pose some significant challenges because the area is soft and you can see where the plane appeared to be stuck. So I don't think we'll be able to move it from there. And so there is where we are right now. We found a number of small items in the area, including an ATV that was submerged in the lagoon. And our investigation into that matter continues.
The Supreme Court has struck down an application for judicial review by the United Democratic Party in connection with the Microsoft contract awarded to Smart Belize Limited by the government on Wednesday. Justice Sonia Young found that the $3.4 million contract awarded to Smart for Microsoft 35 licenses for a period of 1 year was validly and rationally entered into with the government. Additionally, she noted that the bid was the lowest and that there was no bias or appearance of bias. Justice Young further underscored the importance of competition for the benefit of the Belizean people. According to a release from the government press office, government welcomes the ruling they say reaffirms government's earlier assertions that the tendering process was open, transparent, and fair, and without any interference. Coming up, and they are off. News 5 has the start of the Belican-La Ruta Maya race for you when we return.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word.
The Bible says, "Wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall." I was witnessing to a friend of mine once who said to me, "Bob, if I have as much fun in hell as I have in going, it's going to be a great place." Perhaps you too have heard people scoff at hell and death and openly defy it. Many who boast of their self-sufficiency and who reject the idea of their need for God and religion need to take seriously the testimony of others who shared such a common belief but found out too late how wrong they had been. As one who has stood by many dying people, I want you to know that when death knocks at their door, their attitude is altogether different. Sir Thomas Scott on his deathbed said, "Until this moment I thought there was neither a God nor a hell. Now I know and feel that there are both, and I am doomed to perdition by the just judgment of the Almighty." M.F. Rich, an atheist, cried, "I would rather be on the stove and broil for 1,000,000 years than to go into eternity with the eternal horrors that hang over my soul. I have given my immortality for gold, and its weight sinks me into an endless, hopeless, helpless hell. The Bible says, the fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. Let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall." Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
First of all, I would like to thank the people of Danbriga for their overwhelming support for electing us into office. We have completed 1 year in office, and so we see just right to report to you as the achievement your council have made over the past year. At the start of our first term in office, we made 32 pledges and have accomplished 27 of those pledges, which translate to 84%. Our strategic plan are being met, working with central government, our ERF, and non-governmental agencies. We continue to build sister city relationships with other municipalities in other parts of the world. We maintained 15 drains. 7 streets were paved, whilst there are others that have started. 9 new roads opened and 10 streets upgraded. 80 rechargeable solar bulbs were distributed to families who did not have electricity. A written report of our achievement will be available for the knowledge of the public as we work on achieving each and every pledge made to you in our manifesto. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Serenade.
Who offers the best home internet experience? The truth is, Digi, of course. Diginet has the largest fiber network and the fastest speeds with the most reliable service. That's more learning, more earning, more gaming, more bonding, more sharing, getting more things done. And now, Diginet is even more affordable with the new entry plan, a 20 megabits per second fiber connection for just $49 monthly, and increased speeds in all plans. The truth is, only Digi has the ultimate home internet experience, with savings up to $270 when you bundle. Wireless and cable can't give you that. So what are you waiting for? Sign up or make the switch to DigiNet today to enjoy more speeds to get more done. Digi, or National Telecom.
After a 2-year interruption caused by the COVID pandemic and very short notice, the annual Belikin La Ruta Maya Belize River Challenge is on. For the next 3 days, 46 teams competing in 8 different categories are paddling from Santa Elena Town, Cayo to Belize City. Our news team of reporter Marion Alley and cameraman George Tillett were there at the start this morning.
The sounding of the horn and the sprint from the Hawksworth to the low-lying wooden bridge in Santa Elena town at 7 a.m. marked the resumption of what has been one of Belize's sporting traditions, the La Ruta Maya Belize River Challenge. "49 miles and 5 hours, 2 minutes later, the team paddling for the Protected Areas Conservation Trust, PACT, zipped across the finish line in Banana Bank first, about a canoe's length in front of slim and trim like guava limb. Jerry Cante, a familiar face to the sport, is team leader.
We didn't have enough training together as a team, so we had to come out here and gamble it out to the finish, you know. So we used our experience on the other team, and that's what helped us get the victory today.
What were the challenges along the 49 miles?
Well, it was a very tough start from the beginning for us. You know, we didn't come out the way we expected to come out.
You won.
Yes, we won, but it was, I mean, the river is pretty shallow for us. You know, I think we are the heaviest team of all those other teams. Those other teams are lighter than us, so they were making use of their weight today, because today was a very shallow day, so we had to work pretty hard on those shallow.
Another veteran to the race, former champion Chris Guidis, told News 5 he still gets a thrill to take part, but he admitted that the COVID pandemic has likely took away some of the steam paddlers once possessed.
Nobody in shape for this one, because we get probably a month and change notice.
Too much bacon?
Yeah, too much, so nobody is in shape, so everybody will take lick today. You have a couple guys where probably have a month training where you know the top guys. But for me and my team, just 3 days paddle, and I am just 3 days training for this one. So
But you have experience on your side?
Yeah, we have the experience, but we will just take our time today and try finish.
But the female team members for Coop Sheet Metal this year are confident enough to take up the paddle.
We did the best of training we could have get. And
how much did you put in?
A month, exact a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you do as long a distance that you would have one of these legs?
Yeah, we did 5 long legs the first day, and then we did short ones.
Organizing a race of this magnitude came with its challenges this year because of the uncertainties that COVID had placed on us. But organizer Roberto Harrison said experience took them through.
As we started out late in terms of planning, the Ministry of Health gave us the go-ahead, at least verbally, the middle of January. We didn't know until about the first week in February. So that was the amount of time we had to plan the 4 days event. What we wanted to do is to have the word out there. The paddlers that are participating today got the word that the race was on, and that we also knew that there were some COVID protocols that we had to follow. Thank God some of those were relaxed.
This year, even the river posed some challenges.
There is a difficulty between San Ignacio and Banana Bank because there's a lot of rapids and low spots along this 49 miles. So those probably would be the challenging spots. I also know that because of the floods of 2020, there's quite a bit of trees on the trajectory as well, which we have highlighted and pinpointed to the paddlers to look out for.
Harrison reminded that the race was born out of concerns raised in 1998 over a long Baron Bliss holiday with no activity to entertain people.
We were toying around the fact that it was a long weekend, the Baron Bliss Day as it was called, then nothing happening in San Ignacio. And we thought that we wanted to do a canoe race to commemorate in appreciation of Baron Bliss Day. We said, well, a race to where? Well, a race down the river, yes, a race down the river, but to where? And we thought that, well, a one-day race wouldn't be enough, and hence the 4-day came along.
While the race has evolved and grown to draw international attention, many of the competitors look to the event to earn bragging rights. Others find the long-distance event therapeutic, but for Guidis, the race has also been an income earner.
I went to Canada and do some studying on build wooden boat, and with my idea and paddle race, whenever I sit in one of them, I could see where I can adjust the boat different so I could get it most faster. All the top guys right now today is paddling one of the guys' boats. So I'm grateful for all these guys who buy a boat from me. They have faith in my boat, so that's a big plus for me.
This year, as in the past, there will be prizes for winning teams in 8 categories. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
And while the La Ruta Maya race is an event that has survived more than 2 decades, protecting the health of the river where the race is conducted is where the challenge lies. Here's News 5's Marion Ali with a report on how organizers plan to keep the river and its banks clean and safe.
The Belize River, which transforms into the Mopan River in Cayo, has been used in the past as a key artery for transportation well before there was a George Price or Western Highway.
The river was used as a communication for various things, bringing up goods, transporting people down and up from here to Belize City.
But as the population grew and development thrived, keeping the river and its banks clean has posed that challenge. And with river events that draw large crowds along its edge, such as the La Ruta Maya Belize River Challenge, keeping the waterway free of dirt and pollution is important for the environment. Organizer of the river race, Roberto Harrison, says there has been efforts to manage the amount of garbage that is generated.
Clearly, from a committee standpoint, we need to do a little bit more from the environmental side to help protect the river and to have it as a cleaner source of water for the people that live down the river. We have been a little bit negligent, I will admit, and it's something that we have to put on the table again to partner with those environmental groups that are there to protect the environment, to join with us and to help clean the river, not only for the event but during the course of the year as well. One of the things we tell our paddlers, if you have bottles, drinking bottles or plastic water, please keep your garbage in your canoe and you empty those at the end of the day or wherever you can.
Paddler Chris Guides says that his team tries their best to keep their garbage in their canoes.
You'll find a couple garbage, but most of the paddlers, they are aware that this is the river we use, so I always, my paddlers, we don't throw anything out, so we keep it in the boat and trash it when we get here. So a lot of the paddlers do that too. We find a lot of trash along, but I don't know where it came from.
Carry your garbage weight?
Yeah, so carry your weight. It's just a little plastic.
But because there will be some garbage that will escape some of us, and because there are some of us who will deliberately litter, Harrison says they have teamed up with schools to help in cleaning up the riverbanks. Chency Reyes and her classmates from Sacred Heart College's Interact Club were out to lend a hand to the cleaning up after today's crowd had dispersed in Santa Elena.
People come out to enjoy the race and they tend to leave their garbage behind, but we're here just to do the after cleanup. We find the water bottles, we find straws, chips, bag, all sorts of plastics and cans.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
After the break, a Corazon shooting victim survives, but he may be unable to walk again. News 5 speaks with the victim's sister when we come back. But first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
Yeah, I know him from before he in my womb. From I know he nobody ever disrespected him. Because then he is who he is. He is gay, he is friendly, and everybody respectable. Just respect him for who he is. In a human being. Just the word hate means to me that no got no meaning because you know for hate. If you love, everything. I appreciate. I live in Belmopan, I live around Guatemalans, Hondurans, Spanish, Maya, Creole, Garifuna. As I said, growing up, right? They say love your neighbors. Neighbor need to look out for one another.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
I am proud to be a Belizean.
I've always enjoyed the different flavors of my country. Every nook and cranny has its own unique taste.
Our history, rich with culture. We've come so far since our independence. Our flag, rivers, mountains, our people, diverse and strong.
Looking back, I am proud and honored. We must continue to preserve and conserve our culture and country for the next generation.
This is our Belize. Respect it, cherish it, love it.
You want a mobile service provider that allows you to stay connected with fast, reliable LTE coverage anytime, anywhere. Whether it's just to catch up with family, to share that experience with your one special friend, or to manage your small business. Whatever's your thing, you deserve to have the best mobile experience. Now you can do even more while on the go with the increased anytime data allowance in Digi's mobile postpaid plans. You now enjoy 8 gigs of anytime data starting at only $55 monthly. Or share up to 120 gigs of anytime data with up to 6 of your closest friends. That's more LTE data for you to enjoy during the day, nights, and weekends. No restrictions. So keep your gigs up with more data plus unlimited talk and text in all Digi postpaid plans. Visit a Digi store near you to sign up today. All you need is a valid ID and proof of address. It's time to get on Belize's fastest mobile 4G LTE advanced network. Visit livedigi.com to find out more, or hit us up on WhatsApp or Facebook. Digi, our national telecom.
La Unidad de Energía del Ministerio de Servicios Públicos, Energía, Logística y E-Gobernanza realizarán una encuesta nacional sobre el uso de la energía del 2 de febrero al 20 de mayo de 2022. La encuesta abarcará todos los sectores económicos de Belice y la información recolectada será usada para apoyar políticas energéticas y ayudar a planificar un futuro sostenible para el sector energético de Belice. Si su hogar ha sido seleccionado, un encuestador visitará su casa con una identificación. Las empresas recibirán un cuestionario en línea para completar. En ambos casos, el ministerio solicita su amable colaboración. Esta encuesta está financiada por una subvención del Fondo Mundial para el Medio Ambiente, por medio del Banco Mundial como organismo ejecutor del proyecto, dentro del Proyecto de Resiliencia Energética para la Adaptación al Clima.
should Belizeans care about what happened in San Pedro at the Caricom and SICA meetings over this past week? Was it just another high-level political meeting with all talk and no action? News 5's Paul Lopez was covering the story and has important moments that could indeed matter for Belize.
15 states across the Caribbean are members of Caricom. 5 are associate members. Among these members and associates, commonalities are shared in terms of both interest and challenges. Take, for example, the nation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They are advancing in the cannabis industry, an effort Belize can learn from.
We have witnessed the first exportation of cannabis from St. Vincent and the Grenadines legally. And I must note that this cannabis is only for medicinal purposes, because we have gone the way whereby the legal space in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is only for scientific research and medicinal purposes.
In January, St. Vincent exported 110 pounds of cannabis to Germany. Dairy production in Jamaica is another example of an industry relevant to Belize. Jamaica has significantly increased its dairy production, so much so that it can supply the entire region with its dairy products, including something used by almost every Belizean household.
We have just successfully had approval after a three-year process to supply condensed milk to the region, for example, to be a major supplier for condensed milk.
And then there is poultry. People across the Caribbean share an appetite for chicken. The president of Guyana conducted a study to show what foods can be produced and sold within the region.
We import poultry. There's no need for us to be importing poultry. Or some of the greens, like corn and beans, the different meats. All of that can be grown here in the Caribbean.
President Ali also looked at a number of root crops and a number of vegetables that are the main ones that we import into the region: broccoli, cauliflower, pumpkin, etc. And in addition to that, he then took 3 products for which there is great potential value added. There's a lot of palm oil, for example, imported into the region, but there's no reason why we shouldn't be using coconut oil, which in any event has particular health benefits. I'm satisfied that we have the capacity with the agro-processing that is done in the region and for which there is a healthy market to be able to expand that.
Which is why decreasing the region's food import bill from non-CARICOM countries was on the top of this week's agenda. Consumers will begin to see more regional food brands in their local market over the next 3 years. As production increases across the Caribbean, so will employment. Government earnings will also benefit from this move. In this week's meeting, it was decided that the president of Suriname will be the lead head, focusing on greater production integration. On the common challenge of climate change, Belizeans are witness to the negative impacts of increasing global temperatures. Sea levels are rising, and across the Caribbean, property and lives are being lost annually.
Climate change continues to be a major issue for us, which we have agreed to put at the center of our work. This is vital.
Warm water is fuel for hurricanes. Take, for example, the hurricanes Irma that struck the island of Antigua and Barbuda in 2007 as a Category 5 hurricane, or Hurricane Maria that struck Dominica in September of 2019, destroying 90% of the island's structures. Hurricane Dorian caused an estimated $3.4 billion in damages in the Bahamas. In Belize, the situation could become the same or worse unless the world acts fast.
A landmark report was again published by the UN that said that countries like us, the impacts from climate change are so severe that in some cases we're unable to adapt, and that the changes and the impacts that we're seeing are even faster than we thought.
This week, heads of states issued the Ambergris Key Declaration, which outlines the region's priorities on tackling climate change. Still, the challenge of holding the countries that make up the G20 accountable for rising temperatures remains.
This is very much uncharted territory, and that's why the advocacy and the diplomacy remain the primary weapons, especially on the issue of loss and damage. In the Paris Agreement, there was reference also to the Warsaw Mechanism for Loss and Damage. That's why at Glasgow we made the point that we were not happy that there's been no appropriate framework for loss and damage.
On the COVID-19 front, heads of Caricom zoned in on the vaccination rates of its member states. A decision was taken to mount a regional campaign against misinformation related to vaccines.
The reopening of our economies and of our education systems will be greatly assisted by an improvement in the rate of vaccination.
Prime Minister John Briceño was congratulated for his chairmanship of the meetings over the course of the week.
You feel confident that you guys accomplished what it is you set out to accomplish at this meeting?
Relatively so. Building Caricom integration is a process, is a relay. So we do things in stages, and I'm happy with the progress that we've made here.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
A trio of men, including 2 police officers, assigned to the security detail at the recent Caricom and SICA summit in San Pedro, has been remanded to the Belize Central Prison after they were arrested for discharging firearms in the vicinity of Gran Caribe. It happened in the small hours of Wednesday morning when a sergeant and a police constable in the company of a businessman fired several shots offshore, not far from where several regional heads of state were staying. Quick response led to the detention of the men who were in a boat a short distance away.
I was briefed while I was away that this was sometime around 1 a.m., I think, on the morning of Tuesday, which would be Wednesday morning, or the night of Tuesday, which is Wednesday morning, that the sound of gunshots were heard coming from the sea in the vicinity of Gran Caribe, where the SICA where the summit was being held. And simultaneously, police saw a vessel in the same direction as where the shots were heard coming from. The police team responded and intercepted the vessel. And on board that vessel was Sergeant Pop and PC Kingston, both who were assigned to the anti-narcotics unit, and a civilian. A search of the vessel, firearms were found, and they admitted to discharging weapons, stating that they were test firing them. Well, I don't understand why would they go and test fire weapons in an area like that, which they know was sterile, because these officers were also involved in the security at this summit. And so based on that, the officers and the civilian were charged. And they appeared before the court, they pled not guilty, and they're currently remanded at prison.
Tonight we hear from the sister of Andres Sanker. 18-year-old Sanker was seriously injured during a shooting in Corazon on Wednesday night. The situation is very real and frightening for the entire family, and more so for Marilyn Galvez, because the incident happened on her birthday. So what triggered the gun violence? Galvez says that Andres Sanker was shot by a man who was once his stepfather.
It was a shock for me, because the night I was at home, and then around 10:30, I would say, my little sister called me and told me that they shot my brother, and I said, no man, because I can't believe it, right? So I called one of my other brothers, and they told me that they have him at the hospital. They rushed him to Corazon Hospital, and so I drove over there, and the doctors just hurried up. They did their best. They hurried, prepared him, and put him on the ambulance. He told the police in Corazon what and who the person was. In the ambulance, same description. He came here, and yesterday, the police, some of the officers came over and asked him a few questions where he was responsive to them.
Has he said what led to this? Like, why this person come and try to shoot at her?
It's sad, but unfortunately, it's reality, right? So it is not something that has been occurring right just now.
Okay.
It's something that has been progressing a long time ago. there's a beef between the guy a long time ago. There's feud there. We have reports with my brother went to the police station in Corazon with my aunt to make reports against it. So that's a very good thing because it's on his side. But we could not believe that it would result to something like this. I mean, he was the stepfather to him. So how could you think of, picking up a gun and shooting an 18-year-old and just not giving any remorse about it, because this is somebody that lived in a house with you. It is not somebody that, I found you on the street,
Andre Sanker was struck to the back and was transported to the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital in a critical condition. He has since been stabilized, but he is still not out of harm's way. This morning, when we spoke with his sister, Marilyn Galvez, we got an update on his prognosis. She says that her younger brother very likely won't walk again.
When we arrived at Carl Huchner, they stabilized him for a while, and they couldn't do anything much, right? Because due to the severeness of what he was in, we had to do some CT scans. The results came back that the bullet did not touch his spine, but it caused damages to the nerve and some of the tendons. Unfortunately, the doctor told us that in the case like that, they won't be able to do surgery on him because the bullet isn't somewhere that is harming any of his organs. So there's no internal bleeding. But unfortunately, he won't be able to move his legs, so he will be paralyzed from the hip downward to his toe.
That was confirmed, or they're just saying that it's a possibility?
Well, the doctor said that his chances of walking right about now is slim to none.
Okay.
So he says that we would need a miracle for him to walk in the future. Okay. Right about now, there's no possibility of movements in his leg. Last night he had severe pain, like really, really bad pain. And all that they could do is just give him painkillers and try to stabilize him. That's all.
For right now, what are they saying is his condition? Is he critical? Is he stable?
He's stable. He's not critical anymore. He's stable. They have him in the surgical ward. They are monitoring him. Another doctor from BMA should be coming over to just give a second opinion based on the CT scan and different ultrasound results that they had, right? So that is what we are waiting for.
Just ahead, the mighty Lord Rayburn looks back at 7 decades of entertaining Belizeans at home and abroad. The interview with the legend when we return. But first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
This weather update is brought to you by Smart. This weather update was brought to you by Smart.
Fires can be both good and bad, but if fires are uncontrolled and unmonitored, they can have severe impacts to the economy, to people's health, livelihood, and property.
Forests give us life, but uncontrolled forest fires are costly and dangerous. Each year, more than 97,000 acres of our forests are destroyed by fires, killing our wildlife and destroying their habitats, wiping out thousands of trees from our timber industry, damaging agricultural crops and our tourism businesses, greatly affecting the livelihood of many Belizeans.
Belize has a fire season, that runs between February 15th and June 15th. Now, this is the time when we have an increased incidence of fires. We have an increased incidence of health concerns. We have an increased alert phase for the Forest Department and the Agriculture Department in as far as our response to fires. And this is the time when we're appealing to Belizeans to be wiser in our approach to using fires.
Forest fires can cost us our homes or even our lives, but many forest fires can be prevented.
Be fire-wise. Prevent, prepare, protect.
To learn more, call the Forest Department at 822-1524 or find us on Facebook.
Play Mega Bingo for a chance of a lifetime. You can change a few.
Bingo players, you have a chance to get your hands on a big one. The Mega Bingo Progressive Jackpot is now at $651,630. So you don't want to miss your chance to win it. Purchase your tickets so you can get in the game. Over $650,000 can be yours. So make sure you tune into the live show that airs on Channel 5, Rather Be Here and Love FM at 8 p.m. this Saturday, March 5th. You can also play the bingo game online by logging into Facebook or YouTube. Just search for Belize Mega Bingo. The jackpot and many more big cash prizes can be yours. Don't miss the next show. Mega Bingo is the game.
In these trying times, Smart is here to lessen the burden. Smart's reduced roaming rates save you while traveling. Calls back home are a low 35 cents per minute when visiting Canada, the US, and Mexico, or pay as low as 50 cents for calls when visiting countries in the Caribbean, Central, and South America. For the month of February and March, enjoy an unbelievable low rate of 30 cents per megabyte when roaming with mobile data in Canada, the US, Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean. Whether you are a business traveler, studying abroad, visiting loved ones, or just traveling for pleasure, Smart's new roaming rates have got you covered. Roaming in China, Europe, Central America, South America, and the Caribbean is as low as the cost of making a local call. It's that low. Smart's roaming coverage continues to grow, so you can also enjoy affordable roaming rates in several destinations across the globe. For more information on rates to other countries, visit our website or call 1090 for more details before you travel. Smart, bringing people together.
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSD, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
An on-the-job skills training program organized by the Department of Youth Services concluded today with a graduation ceremony at its headquarters in Belize City. The program, which engaged young people from different walks of life, served as a bridge that linked them with employers across the country. While 230 participated countrywide in Belize City and Orange Walk, they saw the biggest cohorts of youth. News 5's Dwayne Moody attended the graduation and files this report.
The Gateway Youth Center Auditorium was the stage for the 2022 Youth Entrepreneurship and On-the-Job Skills Training graduation, which saw the Belize City cohort of the program being issued their certificates of completion. While some didn't make the graduation because they have transitioned to full-time work, Their peers were beaming with pride and smiles as they received their certificates.
I joined the program once before in the past while Ms. Finnegan was running it, but I wasn't serious like now, and now that I have gotten a second chance in life, I decided that I will complete this program and do my best in finishing it and do everything to, let me reach the top. And that's what I'm heading right now.
While it has some trappings of the apprenticeship program, it is also different. Director of the Department of Youth Services, Kevin Cadle, who along with Dan Finnegan successfully coordinated the apprenticeship program, broke down the goals.
This particular initiative is one of the first of a series of different programs that we're actually launching. And it's the on-the-job skills training program, which is a watered-down version of what should be the apprenticeship program. We will be stepping up to the apprenticeship program very soon. It caters to young people who are underserved. When I mean underserved, I mean young people who have dropped out of school, young people who have not had the opportunity to probably be in school for quite some time, young people who are actually working but will want something else, and also to students. And the reason for students is that there's a lot of young people coming out of school, but when they come out of school, they have no opportunities in terms of the world of work. And we need to provide that type of service for young people. Remember, the Department of Youth Services deals with young people from all walks of life, from every different avenues, and so we have to ensure that young people in every different direction are taken care of. The past apprenticeship program was saturated just in Belize City. It was for Belize City. We did have a few young people who would have come from the district, but now this is a national program. We have 20 young persons from each district, about 50 from Orange Walk and 50 from Belize City, and a total of 230 young persons.
In attendance today were Minister Rodwell Ferguson and Minister of State Gilroy Usher Sr., who both shared words of encouragement with the graduates.
The government, through the Department of Youth Services, has led you to the door of opportunities. You must now enter that door and use your newly acquired skills to be gainfully employed, productive, and law-abiding citizens.
My advice to you, don't let your upbringing lead your life activities, because you might grow up in a certain condition and you want to say you're going to remain that way. No, you must always try to reach to the highest.
Cadle says that the program's success is also due to the many business owners who wanted to adopt individual participants.
We have been working with employers, and we have a directory that we built from about 13 years ago, which comprises of about 150 employers. Now that directory is almost at about 400, because now we have employers nationally, and they have all been engaged in this type of program.
The theme for the graduation was overcoming barriers, accepting challenges, beating the odds. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
During an interview with the Director of the Department of Youth Services, Kevin Cadle, News 5 learned about another initiative which will see young people who may previously have been involved with gangs returning to the classroom. While that program will soon be launched, Cadle says that the department is working alongside the Leadership Intervention Unit to help the transition from the Community Beautification Program into the classrooms. Courses will help boost reading and math skills and financial literacy. A total of 270 young men directly from those infested areas of crime and violence will be going back to school.
In the past, what we had was that they would say that they're just paying gang members to work or just paying gang members to do nothing. Well, we decided through the multi-sectoral approach along with LIU that that cannot be the case. So what we're going to do is that we have already started the first part of it, which was the community beautification concept. We're changing that now. So we're moving now into educating these young men. I know for a fact that in the past apprenticeship program, the more we educated those young men, the more they became positive and productive citizens and wanted to work and wanted to go back to school. We'll literally be doing the apprenticeship program. So they'll be doing a step-up program, which is about the level 1 or entry level to the IT vets. So that is what is actually going to take place. And then we will start working on building their capacity. We have a small fund through the Commonwealth of Learning, COL, and it's going to be specifically designed to work with those young men. And along with the University of Belize, we're also working on a family assessment because we need to know what is going on in those families. Nobody has done that. We don't have any data on what those young men and their family members live like. And we need to know that to be able to better serve them and be able to ensure that we continue to provide the appropriate type of programs for young people in this country.
Belize's musical legend, the mighty Lord Rayburn, celebrated his 86th birthday on Thursday. It's quite an achievement for an artist who has spent the better part of 7 decades as a preeminent figure in Caribbean music. Earlier today, News 5's Isani Cayetano sat with the Belizean icon, whose given name is Gerald Rayburn. He spoke about the milestone in his life, as well as his vision for the younger generation of Belizean talent.
It is my home, my native land. I want you people to understand. I am proud to be a Belizean.
I have to say that reaching the age 86 means a lot to me, because this birthday in the music business, I started from I was 8, from I was 8. And it makes 7 decades of music. My life, I have already lived 10. So all in all, I got to thank the Almighty God, and I think I'm being blessed to live this long.
If you know your heartbeat, you can jump to this beat. Let it bump, let it bump, pump it up. Let it bump, 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 pump it up. Let it bump, pump it up. Let it bump, 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 pump it up. Give me the bass, pump it up. Pump up the bass, pump it up. Give me the drums, pump it up.
When I go to Bird's Isle, we don't want to, you could call it an old school set of old men who get together, give jokes, cuss bad word, talk about sex, talk about all kind of thing, you know. And so when you come around there, you have to be over 50 to sit down around that table. But you know, we invite youths too. But the idea is that we not decide to go out like some grumpy old man. We could drive away stress and not sit down in our corner and believe that, well, no, this is the end of it. We want to drive until the good Lord call we. See? And this was organized by Mr. Henry Young. We now must understand, right, that we all, the youth singer and style, we tell you, that for we turn now. But I wonder what they're going to do it for their turn. They go shoot people? That not give me one bright feeling at all. I just hope that before I left, all this killing and thing, will stop.
Kensington Palace has sent out more details about the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's Caribbean tour to commemorate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Their Royal Highnesses will begin their 3-country visit in Belize on March 19th. While no specific locations have been shared, the palace says they will visit sites that celebrate Maya and Garifuna cultures and explore Belize's biodiversity. On March 22nd, they head for Jamaica to engage with the Jamaican Defense Force and celebrate the legacy of Bob Marley and other groundbreaking Jamaican musicians, as well as contemporary musical artists. The tour ends in the Bahamas, where they will spend time with communities across a number of islands and experience a Jankunu parade. Kensington Palace says the Caribbean's response to COVID-19 will also be featured in the Duke and Duchess's program. And they will focus on themes, quote, close to their Royal Highnesses' hearts, unquote. A key focus of their work is the Royal Foundation, including the Earthshot Prize, mental health, and the importance of early childhood to lifelong outcomes. The Duke and Duchess have asked to meet a wide variety of groups, including children, young people and families, frontline workers, service personnel, leaders from the government, business and the charity sector, as well as conservationists. Earlier this week, we brought you the story of Belizean painter Alex Sanker and his depiction of the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley. Sanker was doing the painting live in San Pedro during the Caricom meeting, hoping PM Mottley would catch wind of the work so that he could hand it over as a personal gift. Well, tonight we can tell you that PM Mottley will be receiving her portrait. Needless to say, Sanker is elated by his development. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
On Wednesday, Belizean artist Alex Sanker told us how inspired he is by Prime Minister Mottley while he painted a piece inspired by her address at COP26.
What she represents is going to benefit all of us. What's happening this week in our country that I love so much, we are a community in the Caribbean and people like her stand out because she have a passion for what she's trying to expose and also try to get accomplished. And I've been looking at her with climate change for quite some time, but when it really shook me was when they had the summit. Right, and that speech, I could have heard it in her voice and everything.
And as fate would have it, Prime Minister Mottley heard about our story. We spoke to Sanker at his studio in Belize City today.
To know that I reach out to do something like this and commit to it, it's almost breathtaking. Like I don't have the word, but it's a huge deal. The average person on seat has a huge deal, but as an artist, and you know me, always the record. So now you see, I know put date for my painting there. So when people see that painting, I say, you know what? This is a painting from 2022 when Mottley, the Prime Minister of Barbados, was in Belize.
We sought a comment from her while she was making her departure from Grand Caribbean San Pedro on Thursday. She spoke briefly.
I understand there's a painting, ma'am. Are you going for a painting?
I'm hoping if you delay me, I won't reach there.
Where did you hear about the painting?
Wendy.
From those brief remarks, Prime Minister Mottley was whisked off to the park in San Pedro, where Sanker was preparing this masterpiece. Unfortunately, Sanker had already returned to the mainland and was unable to meet her in person. But the work has been left in the safe hands of personnel at Minister Andre Perez's constituency office.
I am really grateful, and hopefully even this interview get to her, that she took the effort. It looked like even her schedule was so tight. It looked like she was on her way to the airport or whatever. I have no, but all what I know, I got so much text when I got back in the city. Mr. Alex Sanker, we're here at the park, at the park at San Pedro. The Prime Minister is here, want to thank you personally, etc. And to really even grasp the fact is that she went there in person when it couldn't happen otherwise because of the tight schedule, security, everything. That's huge, man. I mean, that is huge. So my objective was to make her get the painting, and that was accomplished. So I'm very grateful, and I humble myself with the situation and everything.
Minister Perez's office has assured News 5 that the painting is being prepared for shipping to Barbados. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Up next, do you need a hero? We will tell you where to find some in this week's edition of On the Bright Side.
Do people actually hear from God? Are there really angels and demons? Okay, now that's just unbelievable. In our next series, we're going beyond the Google search and facing the tough questions. It's time to take on the skeptic and eliminate the doubt. From inconceivable to unimaginable, we're talking about the Bible's most unbelievable truths. Every second of this series will be worth your while. Believe it or not.
Bundle the fastest, most reliable, unlimited broadband in Belize with your prepaid or postpaid mobile plan or Netflix. You can bundle your broadband with your prepaid and enjoy 50% off all national calls, plus get SMS and data. postpaid plans? Then bundle with any speed and pay only $25 extra monthly to enjoy unlimited smart-to-smart calls, plus 500 minutes, plus 6,300 megabytes of data. Stream unlimited HD movies and TV shows with our broadband, plus the Netflix add-on for only $30 monthly, and enjoy streaming on your laptop, TV, phone, or tablet. Visit a smart showroom near you to sign up or upgrade to the bundle that's right for you. Smart, bringing people together.
Connecting people. Creating memories.
Guys, so here we are at the Glaze Out Kitchen. I just prepared this amazing broccoli.
Sharing a smile. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
What is the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine? The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is an RNA vaccine that triggers our immune system to develop antibodies against the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID-19. It helps to reduce hospitalization, severity of the disease, and death. What is the Pfizer vaccine made of, and is it safe? The Pfizer vaccine is made up of mRNA messenger ribonucleic acid, which are molecules that carry the genetic information needed to make proteins, lipid, salts, and sugar. It is safe for persons 12 years and older and does not contain the COVID-19 virus, hence cannot cause infection. Tests have shown that the vaccine is effective against current virus variants. Who should take the Pfizer vaccine? The Pfizer vaccine should be taken by persons 12 years of age and older who do not have severe allergic reaction after a previous dose of vaccine or have not had severe allergic reaction to any ingredient of this vaccine. 2 doses of the vaccine are required 3 weeks apart. If you are between the ages of 12 and 17 years, you are required to present a signed consent form before you are vaccinated. What are the side effects of the Pfizer vaccine? Some common side effects of the Pfizer vaccine are headache, fatigue, muscle pain, fever, chills, and swelling at the injection site. If side effects persist, contact your doctor as soon as possible. Does the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine prevent infection and transmission? No, vaccination alone does not prevent infection and transmission. We are still required to continue to wear masks properly, physically distance, wash and sanitize hands often, practice proper coughing and sneezing hygiene, and avoid crowds.
As Belizeans begin the long Heroes and Benefactors Day holiday weekend, News 5 decided to go in search of some everyday, real-life heroes. Unlike most of us, they probably won't be taking the day off on Monday. Instead, they will be standing by in case any one of us has a medical emergency requiring them to spring into action. And so tonight, for this week's episode of The Bright Side, let's meet some members of the Belize Emergency Response Team.
Unfortunately, we normally end up meeting people for the first time on one of their worst days of their life because they're in a crisis, emergency mode, scared, not know what's going on, and then we show up and we try our best to make the situation as calm as possible and do what we are trained to do to make it, to get the person his best chance of survival to the hospital.
BERT is a flagship project of the Rotary Club of Belize. Our board of directors are all volunteers and they're Rotarians, members of both the Rotary Club of Belize and Rotary Club of Belize Sunrise.
I make sure that the ambulances are up and running, capable of responding to emergencies.
Leon Seguro is a fleet supervisor, EMT cardiac technician, and lifesaver. He has been working in the field for 21 years and carries a shift of 12 or 24 hours. He says whether you are inside or outside a hospital, the patient care goals are the same.
We are a part of that chain. We are working for the same goal. We do things sometimes a little bit different because the protocols pre-hospital compared to hospital might be different, but at the end of the day, the goal is the same. We're still working to save lives.
And in just a matter of 12 to 15 minutes, Henry Salguero, Bird's pilot, is over the coast on his way with a team to receive patients. Where he once piloted luxury commercial flights, now he offers critical care response.
It's pretty much different. That's been a big change, and a lot of times it's a bit more challenging, we could say, as well, because I mean, you got to take care of the aircraft, plus have to communicate with the paramedic as well. So that's one of the big changes that we've had, well, I have had in my experience. Yeah. Most of the flights are pregnancies. COVID's been one of the biggest amount of patients we move, and also kids. A lot of the kids we move from around the country they're pretty much critical, you know. So what we try to do is bring the patient along the aircraft this way and parallel to the stretcher here. So there would be a medic in there already, or if there's a nurse, well, the nurse will be there as well. And then we'll have a couple more nurses on this side. Like I said, it all depends on how bad the patient is. If he's able to move, we would just help him. But sometimes we gotta lift.
It's a tight fit that shows no limitation when the adrenaline of the job hits. But to see for myself, I tried to squeeze in to help an imaginary patient give birth.
I'm very proud of the EMTs that work for Bird. They're truly dedicated. Our EMTs sacrifice their families, they sacrifice their loved ones to be there for you, the public. They work grueling hours. This is a 24/7 ambulance service. So many of them don't get to see their own kids grow. And so it's a life dedication, it's a selfless effort. And so we truly cherish our EMTs that work for us, that dedicate their lives to saving those in the public that need it.
I think it requires a passion. I honestly always tell people, if you're coming here for a job, don't come. If you're coming here because you want to do this, you're welcome. But don't come here just for a job to earn a salary. You won't like it. It's very stressful. It takes up a lot of your time. It requires for you to give up all the fancy holidays, in the middle of your Christmas dinner, there's an RTA on the highway. It's over, it's gone. Your children's birthday, anniversary, whatever it may be, more than likely, those are the times when stuff happens. And if you're serious about your job, you'll leave that to come and save a life.
I must say it's a good feeling to know that you're helping someone that really needs your help, and to use your passion for compassion. It's a good feeling.
So while we celebrate the heroes of the past that left lasting impacts on our country's development, let us also remember the current ones that are risking their lives for the betterment of our own. Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly. BERT was started in 1998 as a non-profit and is a registered NGO. They provide training under the banner of American Heart Association, ground rescue and air evacuations. BERT works in partnership with Wings of Hope. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.